Hey guys, welcome to the channel, and today we are going to be building an AI agent which will crawl websites for you. We are going to be using LangGraph and Node.js to build that agent. So let's get started. So as you can see, I have this Node.js app and I'm using Express to make API heads. You can see I also have a HTTP file to test this API. So for example, if I send a post request to the URL, then you can see I receive a response, right? And this is how we are going to interact with our agent. So what we'll do is we'll have a query, for example, I'll just write here query and say, go to HTTP as www.debuggingmylife.com and summarize it for me, right? And it will actually go to that website and try to summarize it for you, right? We can also like ask questions what the web page is about and also extract information from the web page. So let's first install our dependencies, LangGraph, LangChain, and Puppeteer. So we are going to be using Puppeteer to crawl the web page. I'm going to go here, open the terminal, npm install at langchain core at langchain slash langgraph, also Puppeteer. All right, let's hit install. We also going to be needing the LangChain OpenAI package because we're going to be using OpenAI as our model, GPT as our chat GPT as our model. So yeah, npm install at langchain slash OpenAI. Let's define an env file for our OpenAI key. And this is where basically you'll put your own API key, right? So we have the OpenAI API key in our env in our env file. Now let's try to create our agent. So we'll go here and first and foremost, I'm gonna disable cursor, right? So we are going to import create React agent from the at LangChain slash LangGraph slash pre-built chat OpenAI from LangChain OpenAI. Right now, let's create the model. So const model equal to new chat OpenAI, and we have to define the model. So model will be GPT-4o mini, right? Temperature will just keep 0. Now we have to create our agent. So const agent equal to create React agent, and then we are going to provide our LLM, which will be the model, and then the tools, which is right now is empty. So we are going to create the tool which will actually crawl the website in a minute. So let's keep it empty for now. And then we are going to call our agent here. So we are just going to go here and do this. So agent const result equal to agent dot invoke, right? Messages, a new human message, which will be whatever we provide in the query. So body dot query basically, right? Great. Now let's console dot log, or let's return this result. So return response dot JSON result, right? And let's see if that works. So yeah, the project is started again. I'll go to index.http, send request, expected double quote property. Okay, so yeah, I was able to find out the issue. And the issue was that I had like a comma here, and that is why it was not able to read the, JSON. So I removed it. But now if I click on send request, again, sends me an error, says error processing post request because it was not able to find my OpenAI key. And that is because we need to install .env. So let's do that env from .env .env.config. Right, let's install it. npm install.env. Great. And this will be fixed now. So now let's go send request. Now the actual request actually got to the agent, and you can see its response. It says, I am unable to browse the internet or access specific, because it can't actually access the web, right? And we have to provide a tool which this agent is going to use to access the web, right? Or the website that we want it to access. So first and foremost, I don't want like all of this. I just want this content. So to access that, it's very simple. Result dot messages, the first element, because the zeroth element is the human message, then we need the first message dot content. All right, and this is the same thing that I'm going to send back here, you know just as response, right? Let's run this once again, send request, and I'm able to browse. Right? Now let's create a tool which will let our agent to access the website that we want it to access, right? So now I'm going to go here, create a new file, and we are going to call it crawler tool.ts. All right, so we're going to create a tool here. To create a tool, we need to import dynamic structured tool class from the LangChain package. So we're going to do that. Import dynamic structure tool from LangChain core tools. And then we have to create a new tool. So we're going to create the tool const crawl tool equal to new dynamic structure tool. And then we are going to provide the configuration about our tool. So the first thing will be name. All right, so name will be crawler. I'm just going to call it crawler. The second thing will be description. So description, crawl a website and return title, content, and description of the web page. All right, so our tool is going to go to the website, crawl it, return the title, return the content of the page, and the description of the web page, right? The next thing we have to provide schema, and schema will be basically the schema of the arguments for that function, like what that function needs. For example, in our case, it needs URL. So we're going to do that. So we are going to just say g dot, we're just going to use Zod for this. So I'm going to import Zod, npm install Zod. And in the meantime, I'm going to import Z from Zod, right? So Z dot object, and it will be URL, Z dot string, right? So it's going to be an URL, right? And that is why we are doing .url, great. And last but not least, we need the actual code, right? Which we're going to run when this tool will be called. So that is func, right? So async then the URL, and then we are just going to do return await. So we are going to create a crawl functions. So I'm just going to say URL, and let's see why this error is coming up. Let's try to escape this. So we just say as NA. Let's see what it says. Type is not assignable to type input. Okay, so this is still giving us error. Let's just go ahead and define our crawl function first. So const crawl equal to um, await, not await, async, and it's going to return, the const let title, content, and the description of the page. So I'm just going to return that. Okay, so title, content, and description. Also, let's define the URL here. Also, let's define the proper type of our return. So promise, and it's going to return a crawl result. So let's do that here. Ta like interface crawl result equal to, not equal to, the same thing, title, content, and description, string, 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 right? And this is what is going to be returned from here, right? They're not undefined. I mean, we can just say, you know, keep them empty at the start, right? And do the same thing here. So prom, it returns that, promise crawl result. Yeah, a typo there, promise, right? And we also have to define the type for this. So URL string, and that will fix the type error for the function, right? And we have the crawl tool, and we are calling the crawl function in here. Now let's actually write our crawl function. So let's call Puppeteer. Let me create a browser equal to await puppeteer.launch, right? And then create a page, const page equal to await browser.new page. Then let's ask the Puppeteer to go to the page. So page.go to the URL that is provided. Then let's extract the title, description, and everything, right? So try catch error const data equal to await puppeteer dot evaluate, not puppeteer dot, but the page dot evaluate. And the reason we are doing page dot evaluate is because the code that we are now going to give to this function is actually going to run inside the browser sandbox, right? So yeah, so that's why we firstly have to evaluate the page to actually get access to the HTML, the text, etc. So the first thing we are going to be doing is title equal to, I'm just going to say const title equal to document dot title, and then const content equal to document dot body dot inner text, right? And we can get the description as well. So description equal to document dot query selector meta, where name is equal to description, and if it is there, then dot get get attribute content, right? I have all this here, and then I'm going to return it from inside here. So return again, title, content, and description. The reason we need to do that, and the reason we are not just able to act like modify title, content, description, is because all of this actually run inside the sandbox environment. So we actually don't have access to all this. So I'm just going to pass that to data, and then I'm just gonna say uh, or instead of like returning from here, I can just return data, which will work as well. um you can just say crawl result, right, as crawl result, right, and this will be accepted now. And here, if there is an error, just return, just return the error, not the error, but throw the error. So throw the error here, and at last just return everything empty, or we don't even need it now, right? Because either this will work or either this will not work, and also we don't need this anymore. All right, I think this is pretty much ready, but we also have to close the browser, right? So we'll also close the browser. So await browser dot close, and the browser will be closed once we have used the tool. Okay. Now yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I think just let's just do one thing. Export default crawl tool from here, and let's try to use it inside our agent. So, okay, all right, here's the tools. I'm going to provide the tool here. So crawl tool, right? And now our agent have access to, go to different websites. So let's try that out and see if that works. I'm gonna hit send request. I don't know if it ran or not, so I'm gonna close this and again run this. Send request, clicked on it, so it's waiting. So response is empty for some reason. I don't know why. Let's try to figure that out. So the first thing we are going to do is, and also like the content is empty, so I'm just gonna console the whole result and see if there is an error or not. And also inside from the tool, before returning this, I'm going to console.log the title and let's say content as well. It takes an URL. I'm calling the crawl URL here, so everything seems to be in order. Close this, go here, send a request again, waiting. Let's see if that works out. Okay. Okay, so there is content, which is good thing. Oh, all right. I get what's the issue. So we are assuming that, there is only one, uh, there are only two messages in the thread, which is the human message and then the AI message, but that's not true because if you look at the response, you have the human message and then you have a tool message. So actually the tool got called and it returned the content, you can see, right? And yeah, and then AI summarized it and then returned the, return the actual response. So instead of always looking at the first response, we are going to always look at the last response, because that's the thing that we need. So what I'm going to go do here is result messages dot length -1. So always like the last message starting in. Great, let's go, let's hit this, and you can see the response here, right? So the website debugging is authored by Manoj Singh Negi and feature a variety of articles focused on motivation and all that. And if you actually go to debuggingmylife.com, right? So this is like a website that I have built, and this is like where I put like some of my articles. But yeah, man, so you can see like it kind of summarize this, right? We can also go into like one of the you know blog and say and summarize it for me, and let's just go ahead and run this again. The article title, we dream but we don't always believe, by Minosiniki, discuss whatever the common struggle and all that we can say. And some, instead of summarizing, we can just say you know suggest more, suggest some writing ideas, right? Like look at this post and suggest more according to the article. So yeah, let's see if that works out. So we're still waiting, based on the content of the article, from power of self-belief, overcoming doubts and all that. And yeah, this is pretty much it, and that is how you can actually build an agent which can crawl websites and answer your questions about that website. I hope you like the video, and please subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next video.